This is a show for people who are ready for the next step in human evolution. The only way to understand sexual criminality is to listen to sex offenders. Tell Me About Your Sex Crime is an attempt to let the sex offender himself rejoin the community and become a part of the solution. If we could begin to understand him, then again, we could begin to prevent sexual crimes from ever occurring. By watching this show, you become part of that solution. Please, why don't you tell me about your sex crime?
Okay, I committed my crime in 2000, and it was attempted lewdness with a child under the age of 14. You know, it was like a rolling blackout for a year. I was drinking heavy alcohol. I was on prescription medication that was prescribed to me. I was also taking other prescriptions like Vicodin, OxyContin, Xanax, whatever street drugs I can get my hands on at the time. I think I was pretty isolated and lonely at the time, and me and my girlfriend got in a fight about a week or 2 weeks later. I ended up going to jail.
2 weeks later after the incident?
After the incident, yeah. Her daughter had told her that I tried to touch her down there, which is tried to touch her vaginal area. And then I went out to my brother's house in Georgia. And then about 4 months later, the FBI came and knocked on my door. And the cops, guns drawn, they all came in because, you know, I got a assault with a deadly weapon on a cop in my past. I said, yeah, but I didn't think you would come all this way over a domestic battery. They said, oh no, it's not a domestic battery, it's a sexual assault. It had to be extradited. When I got to county jail out here, and then I'd read the charges, there were 10 charges, 4 sexual assaults, 4 attempted sexual assaults, and 4 lewdness charges. And I was like, no way.
Wow, so 12 felonies.
No, it was 4, 4, and 2. So it was 10 felonies, yeah. And I'm like, what? Now, I get to county jail, I get a public defender, and on the day I went in to enter a plea, my public defender came up to me and said, the DA's offering you an attempted lewdness.
And what happened when you went to court?
A judge said I was a wicked man and wanted to know the age of the victim, and then it was just fire and brimstone from there. And he said upon parole or release, to register, don't frequent any parks or movie theaters.
Wow. So by this time, after all these years in prison, how much time
I did 7 years, 4 months in prison. You know, I could have wrecked her life forever, you know, and I had to live with that. I pled guilty to this crime. An 8-year-old girl who said that I did it, and I have to be responsible for that and put myself in a frame of mind to where I don't put another child in danger ever again.
I don't usually ask this question, but I am wondering, you know, in my own experience as a therapist, a lot of times I've noticed that people in the community tend to use a moral diagnosis, including me. I mean, I've done this in the past.
Myself too.
Using a moral diagnosis when we don't understand what's really going on. When the judge said as much, you know, that you're an evil man.
Wicked man. Yeah.
A wicked man, okay.
It's in the transcript.
Which
Steve.
is something, you know, almost out of a fairy tale. When you're a wicked man, what was it that he was missing in order to get to that conclusion?
I think he didn't understand where I was at and where it was coming from. He was just looking at it from a legal point of view. That, hey, we got a grown man here that's...
I think there was going on a little more than that. I mean, it's hard to interrupt you, but that isn't legal language. That's moral language.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wonder...
Maybe he has children of his own, and he was vetting through that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe he had some emotional skin in the game, and he was not exactly the professional...
Picturing his daughter being fondled by this creepy guy, and yeah.
Maybe so. Well, so what steps from your past put you in that position?
Well, you know, I used to think it was just that I was a drug addict and an alcoholic. But, you know, after being in counseling for 2 years, you know, and hearing a lot of the other guys' stories, I see where they were all, including myself, we were all lacking in friendship, love, and our careers. And I look back at the person I was then and the horrible crime, and I look at the state of mind I was in at that time. And I had no friends. I was isolated. I thought my love life was good because we had a lot of sex, but I know now that the two don't equate. We had a lot of sex, but our love life was crappy. We didn't talk. We weren't intimate on a vocal level or anything. We didn't share our hopes and dreams or anything. And it was kind of just like all based on a sexual thing. And I had no career. None. So here I am adrift on this lonely island of nothingness, trying to keep it all together. And I chose to just fuel it. I thought, by self-medicating, I thought that was the way out. And actually, it was the way in to a whole lot of trouble.
So, how did it all begin? You were born?
I was born in Cleveland. When I was 4, we moved to Pomona, California. That's in Southern California. And we moved out from Ohio with my younger brother's dad. And he was a drug addict. And it was my mom, my 2 brothers, 3 sisters, and her drug addict boyfriend. And I remember they fought a lot. She found Reds and pills behind the medicine cabinet, and she met my stepdad, and they started dating, and about a year later they got married.
Were you at that?
I was about 7. And
a lot of action up till the age of 7.
Yeah, and we'd moved probably 4 or 5 times in that period, because when the boyfriend goes, and there goes the house and other things, you move in with friends or whatever, and then you get your own place, and then here comes another boyfriend, and then so it was kind of that type of cycle, changing schools and all that. So I lived in a lot of fear for years, and I went to elementary school from 3rd grade to 6th at the same school. We hadn't moved anymore, so we were pretty stable with my stepdad. And I think that's what my mom was looking for, the stability. There were 6 kids, he could step in, beat our ass, do whatever, keep us in line. And 7th grade I did good. I was honor roll. I played viola. Got into high school. So I started hanging out with other guys, getting high, ditching school.
How old were you when you started getting high?
I started smoking pot when I was 11. I really didn't start drinking until I was probably about 19.
So did you ever get any feedback from the school about your drug use?
I hit it well. I never even got caught at home getting high. If I would have got caught at home getting high, my stepdad would have hung me right there for real,
So one thing we skipped over real quickly was, even at a young age, you're watching your mom get beat by this guy?
He smacked my mom a couple times before.
I'm thinking, how is my client supposed to take his behavior seriously when he lives in a home where the adult male, in this case, is behaving in such an illegal way, such an over-the-top illegal way? The impact, Janet Reno, I think, said it best. She said that domestic violence is the root cause of all crime in America. And like any controversial statement, I think there's probably some exceptions to that, but I think this is your life is a really good example of where a kid gets one message about how he should behave, but the underlying message, the more powerful message, is might makes right, you do whatever you want to do, and hang the law because it really doesn't matter. And so you got beat down for not following rules, but you were beat down in such a manner that he was breaking all the rules of the community when it comes to how to treat your kids. How could that not, I'm just sitting here thinking, how could that not affect the kid later when he starts making choices about legal and illegal acts? I don't see how that couldn't have affected you.